I'm talking about Loki, Glorious Purpose. Hello, everyone, and thanks for tuning into the podcast. I'm your host, Betty. We're going to be talking about, like I said in the introduction, about Loki. Since we talked about Falcon and the Winter Soldier, I figured we should do this show too. I want to do WandaVision sometime in the future, but I don't know when I'll get to pick that up. But anyway, so I got a couple things to discuss off the top here. I'm going to try and get a schedule going, better. But I've had a lot going on in my personal life this past week, so I hope y'all can just bear with me. I'm still going to cover Cobra Kai on Mondays. I've added Friends to Wednesdays because my sister Robin, she works, and I don't know when we'll have a chance to do Farmhouse Fixer. We're still going to do that, but when she gets her life, when she gets into a routine to get into doing it, then we'll pick that back up. But for right now, I'm gonna start doing Friends because I recently binge watched it, and I'm having a Friends moment, honestly, because I watched the reunion and then I wanted to watch all the 10 seasons, and I did. I binged that in like a week. So, and I was like, I looked up to see if there was any podcasts about Friends, and there's really not that many. So I thought, well, hey, it's a fun TV show, and I'm a big fan. Why don't I try it? So, yeah, I'm going to pick that up on Wednesdays, and then on Fridays, I'm going to get back to Outlander, but right now, since Loki is going on, I'm going to start doing Loki on Fridays. When it goes off, I'll pick back Outlander back up from season 2. So that's what's going to happen. So, Outlander is just on a break, okay? You see what I did there? Okay, no. If you don't watch Friends, you don't understand what I just did there. But yeah, we were on a break, the whole thing. Anyway, Outlander is just on a break. So anyways, let's just get into the episode of Loki. The synopsis reads, after picking up the Tesseract in Avengers Endgame, Loki finds himself called before the Time Variance Authorities, TVA, a Kafkaesque bureaucratic organization that exists outside of time and space. So, yeah, this episode, it starts out, but the synopsis said that it starts out at the end of Avengers Endgame, and I don't think it starts out at the end of Avengers, the first one. But of course, Loki at the end of Avengers, he didn't escape like he did at the beginning of this episode. Because, they dropped the Tesseract and, he picks it up and he goes to the desert, the Magnolia, the Gobi Desert in Magnolia. So he falls through the sky and he lands there and he sees those people that are from Magnolia and, they don't speak English and everything, and he's all, saying, I have my glorious purpose and all of this, and that's the name of this episode. But then there's people that come through these, these doors, in space, and they, he goes to them because they understand him and everything. But there's a woman there that tells him that he needs to come with them because he's arrested for messing up the timeline and everything, and she hits him and it goes in slow motion. He falls and you can see his mouth is doing the whole flappy thing and everything, and he's falling in slow motion, and she tells him that he can feel that pain in real time though. So I thought that was really funny, and the visual effects to that was so great. So, as he's falling, she puts this strap around his neck, like a collar thing around his neck. And anyway, she takes him back through one of those doors, and they're in this, it looks like an old office building from the 70s to me. And I've noticed this anytime you have shows or anything where they deal with time travel like this. I've noticed a lot of times the place looks like it came from the 70s, and I don't know why that is, but Like I watch Doctor Who, and of course, Doctor Who did come out in the early 50s, I want to say, or early 60s, late 50s, early 60s is when Doctor Who came out. So that makes sense why they would keep with tradition on that show. And that probably started it with all these other shows, because I watched the Umbrella Academy too, and there's a similar situation in that show where, the time traveling headquarters is usually, it looks like it's from the 70s. I think though that the Umbrella Academy, and it's been a while since I've watched that. They're in their hiatus, so it's been a while since I've seen a new episode. But I think it's really like it's supposed to look like it come from the 70s, but I'm not sure. I'll have to. I don't know. Anyways, that's not the point. This place looks like it's from the 70s, and she takes him in there, and the little guy, she checks him in, and she gives him the Tesseract to put away, and Loki's telling this guy to be careful with that, because it's the Tesseract and everything like that. And so this woman, she leads him over to an elevator looking, doors, and, he's making his threats to her, if you cross me, there'll be consequences and all of this, and, and she just don't care what he's saying. She shoves him into the elevator area, and inside there's like this robot thing, and it wants to remove his clothes, but he's not. He's like, this is Asgardian leather, and, but anyway, so the little robot, burns his clothes off, and he's standing there naked. But he falls through the trap door thing, and he has clothes on when he falls through, like a jumpsuit. And then there's another guy that he, faces, and he wants him to confirm that, he gives him a stack of papers and says to confirm that this is everything you've ever said ever. And, Loki's like, are you serious and everything? And so this machine starts spitting out words every time he says something. So he signs it, and he goes to the next place, and it's, this guy's telling him to confirm that he has a soul, that he's not a robot or anything like that. And Loki's like, well, what if I don't know that I'm a robot and everything? And but he tells him to walk through, and he goes through the thing, it's fine. Loki's not a robot, y'all. So he goes through this other place, and there's a guy that was brought in at the same time he was brought in, and he's going through there too. And so they're going through this, like, looks like a line to talk with the judge or whatever. And there's a lady there's a little cartoon that comes on the TV monitors that explains why they're there, because they mess with the timeline, and they veered off of their course, and that these people here, the TVA, are here to put them back on course and everything like that. And before he went through, the guard told him to take a ticket too, by the way, like a number, and I gotta mention that because in a minute. And so he's walking through the line, and he's listening to this lady, and she's talking about how these gods, they are like the keepers of time and everything. And if you go off your course, they had to, back in, ancient times or whatever, there were people that went off the timeline, and they started all kinds of wars and stuff. So these people are trying to keep it, going straight, going forward. If you mess with the time, you get arrested and all this. That's what's happening with Loki right now. So anyway, he's going through there, and then the little guy finally gets, the other little guy that's there, he gets to to where he has to show his ticket, and he said he didn't get one and everything. And so the guard shoots a laser at him, and he disintegrates. And Loki, he's like trying to find his ticket to make sure he has it and everything like that. And he goes and he talks with the guard there and everything. But it goes to a new scene. Well, it does like this opening sequence for, and it shows Loki's name and everything. And then it goes to a new scene where there's more of those, I guess you would call them police. I don't know. the TVA people. They're in this church, and I think it was 1549. I think that was the date. Anyway, and they're investigating something. Something happened that they're investigating it, and it kind of looks like whoever they're hunting has been killing their agents. Has been killing the TVA, and the guy there, he's standing there, and